and welcome to Broken Entertainment. Today I'm going to review the comic Perfect 10 by Dave Brink of I believe it's Genuine Comics. And this is one of those campaigns I stumbled on, actually thanks to Twitter. Someone happened to be promoting different Indiegogo projects, and that one came up, and it's one I hadn't heard of yet, so I clicked on it. Saw the artwork. It's a different style than I normally go for, but I liked it. Um, Price was actually a lot lower than what I'm used to. I'm used to the $25 books that are pretty common with Comicsgate. So I thought, why not? And very nearly got the 5 copies, but shipping's understandably not exactly cheap from the Netherlands, so I went ahead and went with the physical copy with the digital edition. The physical copy is not out yet. They're still printing, but I did get my digital copy really quick, actually, after the campaign ended, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll put the link to the in-demand store down in the description below, but go ahead and take a look here at the Indiegogo site. So looks like they're up to about $8,000 with under 300 backers, but doing pretty good. You can see some of the artwork here. One of the things I really like about it is it's got kind of a simple comic style that I actually really like about it, and the colors are really good. This red on this guy in particular. I don't remember his name offhand, but and the blues look really good. The sky there and the explosion. The color looks good on every page. As for the campaign itself, you can get the digital edition for $5. And now these are, they're in the Netherlands, so it's actually going to be in euros, but the price is pretty close. The dollar and the euro are about, they're not even, but they're close enough. So it'll be a little bit more than this, but not a whole lot. So this is the physical copy with the digital edition. You don't get a ton of stuff with it like you do with some of the bigger projects out there like Cyberfrog, but that's fine, especially for the price. Not every campaign is going to have 50 million stretch goals and all that stuff. So then you look at it, there's a signed copy as well, and then there's basically the retailer pack, I guess, the 5 physical copies, and then you can get the sequential art as well, which comes with the signed copy and the digital edition. The digital edition reads pretty easily. I'm not a fan of digital comics. I prefer the physical stuff, but it reads pretty easily. It's not like some of the stuff on Comixology, where there's kind of awkward page flipping. It's just a straightforward PDF file. Looks like they've got some other projects they've done in the past. I don't know anything about those. I was going to look into them a little bit more later on. So here's some more of some of the interior art, but I'll go ahead and switch to the comic. Okay, so we have the comic right here, and it starts off right in the middle of the action, which is great. I love when stories do that, comics or otherwise, because it really pulls you in immediately without a whole bunch of build-up that can kind of slow things down. You see that with different stories sometimes, and it's not a huge deal, but I definitely prefer the jump straight in. And what's great here, the main character who's on the table here, who so far is just named 10. I'm sure she'll get a name later, but as part of the story, she's just known as the number 10. She doesn't really remember anything, doesn't know who she is. which is a great way of giving the reader, who also doesn't know anything about what's going on, a sort of a stand-in that's going to ask the questions that they're going to have, and you'll see that throughout the comic. And then literally second page, right into the fighting. Um, really love that, and I love this scene too, where this guy comes crashing through. You really get a sense of his physical power and ferocity. And the other thing that's great about it is, and this comes up throughout the comic as well, she doesn't rely on, like you see in a lot of entertainment, like I don't know, Batwoman. You see, you know, a 100-pound woman beat up a 300-pound guy in a fist fight, which we all know, you know, come on, it's ridiculous. That's not what you see in this. She always uses her intelligence and her quick thinking to figure out an advantage and get ahead, rather than try to fight like this absolute beast head on. I mean, I don't think there's a really good perspective shot of exactly how much taller he is, but I think we can assume he's probably at least 8 feet tall, if not more. Um, so there's a lot of nudity early on, which is fine. It's an adult comic. They cover everything that would make the ratings higher. Um, and you know, you got like some pretty nasty wounds too, like this guy with his horribly mangled chest. Really cool villain. This is gonna be the last page that I show here, but really cool villains that pop in. I really like this radioactive guy in the middle, and the line he delivers here is great. Uh, but as far as the comic goes, I mean, it's a pretty simple story so far. You know, we start in the middle of the action, but it's not confusing at all. Everything's explained pretty well or shown pretty well, and there is some moments of stopping for exposition, but that kind of breaks up the pacing a little bit, so you're not just bouncing from one action scene to the next. And the exposition is delivered in a skillful way, where the characters are actually talking, and it's not just, you know, kind of given to you in a wall of text. Um, and it does a really good job of giving you the background of the important characters here, the background of the world, and makes you empathize with both the Doctor here and the main character Tin, because you see where they're coming from. You know, here you have, well, I won't get into it too much, but suffice to say that it does connect you to the characters really well, and connects the characters to each other fairly well as well, especially considering it's a first issue. You know, so there's not a lot of time for them to develop that yet. Um, there's a lot of cool powers in it. It's very very kind of classically comic book, which I mean in a good way, where there's a wide array of different characters. They all have different and unique powers. The main character has her own power set as well. Um, I'd have to count how many villains are in it exactly without. I don't want to give too much away, but not one of them has an overlapping power, and they work well together as a team, which is great because it gives her a lot more to overcome than just a bunch of mindless brutes. Um, One of the things, you know, if I was gonna point out some of the downsides to it, um, you know, the exposition's always a tricky thing to deal with, and while I think they handled it well, it is there, and I always prefer showing over telling. Um, but you know, thinking about some of the classic comics, you know, Action Comics #1, Superman's origin is pure exposition, essentially. Star Wars always opens with exposition, so it's not like it never works, obviously. And in here it works well too. I think where it almost bogs itself down, but it doesn't. Dialogue was good, especially some of the quippy kind of one-liners that get delivered, which is perfect for the style of comic it is. It's a fast-paced story. It's a lot of fun to read, and I think if that's, if you're looking for a fun, fast-paced uh, action comic, I would definitely recommend this one. Go take a look at their Indiegogo page, see what you think. Maybe back one of the tiers and get a nice fast-paced comic, which hopefully they'll come out with the next issue pretty soon. But these things take time. You gotta draw it and everything. This one's already been completed, so. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's gonna be one of those ones where you sit down, you start to read it, and before you know it, you're done. And not in a bad way. It's not short. It's just fast-paced. And really, it jumps right in, and it doesn't really slow down until the end. So, I will see you next time. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel.